In the matter of the people of the state of California versus Orenthal James Simpson, case number BA096.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you.
There we go. Hey, Taylor, how are you?
Good, good. I did get a new computer, but it's obviously not this one because this computer is still being an asshole. But I got a new work computer, so at least at work people can see me and hear me at the same time.
It works good enough. I mean, it's a little pixelated, but whatever. It's doing the job. How was your weekend?
Really, really nice. My in-laws are here. Yesterday we went to a thing called the Integratron, which is like a big sound bath here in Joshua Tree Land, which was cool. And today there's a tram in Palm Springs that goes up the mountain that we've never done. And we got up there and there was like a foot of snow.
Oh,
So it was
wow.
super fun. So we
That's really
had
cool.
so we played around in the snow for a little bit. We had a nice lunch and yeah, it was good.
How high up were you?
8,000 and something feet.
In Joshua Tree?
Yeah, well, I mean, we have mount. I mean, no, I'm like 5,000 feet now.
I guess that's true. I'm thinking back to like that golf course, and there were mountains behind it. That does track. Okay.
Yeah, we're in the mountains. We are a bunch of valleys. So
Yeah.
yeah,
You must have really good lung capacity if you live at 5,000 elevation.
I honestly must.
You must.
It says, well, yeah, I think because I'm pretty high up this hill also, so I think I'm like 5,000 feet in my house.
All right. Good for
Yep,
you.
yep.
That's really fun. The thought of snow seems very alien and foreign to me right now.
I know it's
So
cool because it's 30-degree difference between the bottom of the mountain and the top. So
yeah.
it was fun because we had a lot of rain and Friday it was like living in a cloud. You couldn't see 10 feet out of the house. Like it was just like, and I had to drive the kids to their music classes and like you really couldn't see anything driving down the street. It was crazy. Um, but because of that, like it was a lot of rain up here, but then it was a lot of snow up there. Also, Benjamin Franklin's ghost is officially hibernating and I miss him so much.
Do you check on him?
I do. I have a little thermometer in there that I check on my phone, and then I go in there and I touch his head, and he moves his head like, like he doesn't want me to do that. But
Yeah, yeah.
but I need insurance that he's alive.
And then when do we see him again?
Like March, he'll start like, scratching around, and then we can let him out.
Fun. All right. Well, hopefully he has a good snooze. That's a long time.
I know I miss him so much.
What a great pet, you know? It just goes away for 4 months every
I
year.
know.
Just kind of great. And he doesn't eat. He doesn't eat. He doesn't drink.
I know. So we can like
Hey,
go on. We're gonna go away for Christmas, and he'll just be in the shed. He's a desert tortoise. If anyone has not heard me say that out loud before, it's not any other thing that I'm putting in a shed.
yeah, no, it's not a bear. Like she's not
No,
hibernating a pet bear
no, no. He's a desert
context.
tortoise. I'm 3,500 square feet. So square feet, 3,500 feet high
Elevation. Yes.
elevation.
Yes.
So not 5,000.
That's still pretty high. That's still pretty up there.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you go ahead and kick us off with a little intro?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Doomed to Fail. We bring you historical disasters and failures once a week, and I'm Taylor, joined by Fars. And before you ask, Fars is going first today.
Just don't even ask.
I know
Like
no
stop
one
writing your
cares.
hate mail. Stop writing your hate mail. Put
I
your
know.
pen down.
Honestly, all of the Twitter hate.
So I have a story to cover today, and I realized halfway through researching this that last podcast on the left did like a multi-part series on this. And I didn't listen to it, but I'm sure you did, Taylor. And if you want probably a more deeply researched version of this story rather than the cliff notes I'm going to provide, definitely go to them. I have no idea how many parts it was, knowing that it was probably 3 or 4 parts. It's the story of the Batavia. Do you know that one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, did you listen to that one?
You know what? I got bored in the middle of it.
Okay, well then great, great. Usually I
So
do
I
that.
don't think it needs 5 parts. I think it needs one Cliff Note part. I think you were
Crisp,
right.
crisp.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. And it's very rare that that happens, but I definitely stopped listening to that one. I was like, let's wrap this up, guys. So
There's only so much you can go into with like mutinies. Like they all
yeah.
kind of end the same way. I did learn some really interesting. Okay, fine. I gave away the biggest lead here. It's about a mutiny on a ship called the Batavia.
Love it.
But it has a distinction of being the deadliest mutiny in world history, which is kind of fun.
And I do like a mutiny. So yeah, I can't
Well,
wait.
I know you love mutinies,
You
yes.
tell me. You tell me about this. I love it.
I'm going to reference one of your mutinies on this.
Yes. Love
So let's talk Batavia. And the starting point for this conversation is this company, which I never knew how big of a deal it was. I actually never even heard the name before. It's called the Dutch East India Company. I heard of the East India Company, the British one, but I didn't know there was a Dutch version of it as well.
Yeah, everyone was going down there for the goods,
The spice.
spices.
It's like Dune, except the original Dune. Um, so
Yeah.
the Dutch East India Company basically controlled trade and shipping between Europe and Asia. And this would be like the late 1500s to like the mid 1600s. Um, in the 1600s, the Dutch Republic was just an assortment of different provinces that joined forces to assert a ton of naval power. They're apparently one of the most powerful collection of countries in the world back then.
Oh, did you watch Frankenstein?
Yes.
I'm just picturing that those guys on the Dutch boat, but not gold,
Yeah,
right?
I think they were Russian, weren't they?
No, they were Dutch.
Were they Dutch? Okay.
Hmm.
I don't know.
I mean,
Language
not
is
that
weird.
oh, the only way, okay. I actually would kind of know that difference because the little bit of German I know, you can hear it a little bit in Dutch.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, like enough that like every fifth word, I'm like, oh, that word, I recognize that word, you know?
That
So
makes sense. I mean,
yeah,
and I can't remember what the name on the back of the ship was, but it was weird enough to where I thought I can't place this, which
yeah,
is probably Dutch.
yeah.
So, yeah, I didn't know. They were super powerful. They were like one of the biggest and best navies in the world back then.
Hmm.
And also, the Dutch East India Company was kind of a company, but it was also like sort of like a government entity. Like it
Hmm.
could actually launch its own wars, it could establish its own forts.
Oh.
It was a pretty powerful thing. And as a result, it had a lot of soldiers that were part of their ranks and things like that.
Hmm.
This part is totally relevant to today's story. But the very first stock market was in the Netherlands in Holland. It was established specifically because people wanted to be able to buy and own and trade pieces of the Dutch East India Company.
I feel like we talked about this before
Did we?
because, well, when we talked about like the tulips in Holland, right? And like that was like a way that people were like trading on something that didn't exist, like you do in a stock market. We also talked about it as being like a way to invest before a stock market was to buy a piece of a boat,
That's the Essex. Yep.
right? So that's like folding into that, being like, oh, I'm gonna buy a piece of this, own a stake or whatever, and then that kind of became the idea for the
This is more than a
shares.
boat. Like I know what you're
Yeah.
talking about, and that was
Yeah,
how
yeah,
like a lot of like yeah, you buy pieces of a boat, and then whatever came back it was just profit sharing amongst the partners. But the East
yeah.
India Trading Company, like it was huge. It wasn't just like I'll get into this later on in the story, but like they weren't just like going there and bringing spice back, and like they were doing like government building stuff. Like it
Hmm.
was a whole enterprise there, and also
Hmm.
this is like one ship of hundreds they were deploying simultaneously, so it
Hmm.
was kind of a big deal. But yeah, the very first stock exchange in Amsterdam, the Amsterdam Stock Exchange, the very first stock, Dutch East India Company. So,
Wow.
so back to the Batavia. The Batavia ship was named after Batavia, which is a Dutch city in modern day Jakarta. Later on in the story, I'm just going to refer to it as Jakarta. Like the
Hmm.
city, I refer to the city, I'm just going to call it Jakarta because like it's already confusing enough, all these different names I'm going to be reading, and I don't
Yeah.
need to make it harder.
I
So
mean, there's like a shit ton of colonialism and bad things happening during this time.
everywhere,
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Like it's human history forever and always.
Let's get a boat and go steal stuff.
Well, they were actually doing a
Happens
lot of
Thanksgiving.
trading. So part of what they were doing was in this ship specifically, they were carrying what they were calling high value goods, meaning silver and gold, a lot of parts. Back then, I guess in India, or the region that came to be known as India.
Hmm.
Mostly that's what they wanted. They just wanted silver for spices. Like that was it. And so
Hmm.
that was kind of the trade-off being made at the time. But in addition to precious metals, I guess, they also were carrying high-ranking members of the military, the government, because again, it was more than just like a company at this point. It was
You know how, I'm so sorry. You know how that's why India Pale Ale is called India Pale Ale because it wouldn't go bad on a trip from Europe to India.
yeah, that's why they had to make it so hoppy.
Yeah. I
I
don't
love
like it
me.
anymore. I'm too old.
I know, I love it.
Pressure to me.
So the Batavia in this case, it was a flagship fleet of a newish class in the early 1600s. It was described as a floating treasury and mobile command center for the company. So it was that kind of a thing. So.
Mm.
Batavia was set to have her maiden voyage on October 29th, 1628. And this gets a little bit in the weeds, but I thought it was really interesting because it describes how absolutely horrific and terrifying and how insane everybody who was on this ship had to have been. Um, but it's the whole point of it was supposed to leave this one port out of the Netherlands and go to, again, present day Jakarta in Indonesia. The route they took was called the Brouwer route. And if you can visualize it, it basically means you sail south from North Atlantic to South Atlantic. So you go from the Netherlands all the way around the tip of Africa called the Cape of Good Horn. And they dock in Cape Town where they restock and do all of those things. Then they go south a little bit and then just cut straight east across the Indian Ocean right before they get to Australia, and then they have to cut all the way north and go straight up to Jakarta. That's
Wow.
the route. The Netherlands to Cape Town route is 2 months. That's how long you'd have to be on the ship.
God, I'm so car sick or motion sick thinking about it.
It's got to be so terrible.
Just awful. Just
And,
awful.
and then after you do a little dock for like 2 to 4 weeks in Cape Town, then you have 40 days to cross the Indian Ocean, and then you cut north for 20 more days. So like it's basically 2 2-month stints with like
Hmm.
a quick 2 weeks, 3 weeks in between.
Which I feel like I could maybe do on like a Carnival cruise ship or the
I
Titanic.
don't even want to do that. I don't even
I
want to do
don't
that.
want to, but I feel like maybe. But did you ever watch the John Adams show on HBO?
No.
There's a part where he goes back to England or France or something to like make some maybe I think he goes to France. But he just throws up the entire way in
Yeah.
like the bowels of the ship, and you're like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That sounds terrible.
So terrible. Because I mean, what are toilets like there? What is hygiene like? What are showers like?
Oh, none. There's nothing, and there's rats, and
There's
there's
rats. Nothing.
bed
Yeah.
bugs, and it's terrible. Yeah,
So the ship, the Batavia in this case, was staffed by Commander Francisco Pelsart, and his second in command, the skipper was Arion Jacobs. And these two just publicly hated each other. Like it was well known they hate each other. Francisco hated Arion because he thought he was a drunkard who spoke out of turn and basically just talked a lot of shit. And Arion just hated Francisco because he called him out on it.
right. I'm like,
So
was that true? It sounds like
it
that might be
was
true.
it was true. Yeah, it was. Hold on one second.
I'm rethinking my thoughts about the Carnival cruise. Well, first is wait, maybe I don't want to be in a Carnival
You
cruise because I don't
could.
want to be with cruise people for that long. You know, if I could be like people I know, maybe on like a nice yacht, then maybe I would do it for that long. But then it would definitely be a recipe for disaster.
Sorry, the dogs were causing a ruckus out there.
You're cool. I chatted about boats.
I'll find out what you said when I'm editing.
Great.
So those are two main characters of the story, but the main character, the guy that I find the most interesting and kooky and out of his mind, is this guy named Hieronymus Cornelius. Hieronymus was an apothecary, which basically was the cross section between being a witch doctor and a pharmacist.
I love that
Basically
job.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. I love in a movie when they open up a like a doctor's thing and there's a bunch of bottles in it.
I know, but it seems like I get
No,
why
they're
it's
all lithium.
cool. I
Yeah, no, it's
know,
not
I know.
not
They're just
good.
drugging. Like, yeah,
Like I have opium and lithium and
laudanum.
whiskey. Yeah, that's it.
That's
Laudanum.
a
Yeah, that's it. Maybe a
so
leech.
they had like a 50-50 reputation of some people thinking they're like kind of like doctors. People will bypass doctors because it's cheaper to go to an apothecary. And so some people thought they're legit, but I would imagine most people who were like in upper classes would think they're just insane charlatans. But like, because you can afford to go to a real doctor. Although the
I
doctors
guess,
then
but
were
like, what
probably
is a real
insane too.
doctor?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I feel like I'd rather have someone give me a bunch of drugs than like cut me open in 1600.
Oh God,
You know?
so many infections.
Yeah.
So what happened to Hieronymus was that he had a son, him and his wife had a son. They handed the baby over to a wet nurse for a couple of months, and the kid came back and died of syphilis. So
Ew.
basically, this is what like destroyed Hieronymus's career as like an apothecary and apparently his family life because I guess like in those times like having syphilis was considered so deplorable that like you were excommunicated from the world. Basically, Hieronymus went on this like campaign to say that the nurse gave the kid. He was more upset about the syphilis than he was about the kid dying. Basically, just went around telling everyone that the nurse gave the kid syphilis. But from what I can gather, you can't get syphilis that way.
No, you can't.
Yeah. So like, so it
Now it's to
it
like,
it has to come from the mom. Like the mom had to have given it,
oh,
and so because of that, it destroyed the marriage. It was a whole scandal. It ruined their lives basically.
that's awful.
So Hieronymus at this point, he's financially destitute and his marriage is pretty much over. And he did what anybody would do. He just skipped town. He just left. He was like, I'm done. We're gonna go somewhere, start a new life elsewhere.
I was gonna say, yeah,
Um,
like a guy like buys a boat. Like, see you later.
yeah, it's a
That's what I would.
modern, it's the modern equivalent. I'm going out for cigarettes,
Mm-hmm.
basically. Um, he signs up with the Dutch East India Company to work on their ships and was given a commission to do so on the Batavia. So that's how he kind of comes into this whole situation and causes a huge mess. Hieronymus and Arion bonded while they were on the ship, given a shared mutual hatred of Commander Francisco, Arion for reasons that we described. And I actually couldn't figure out why Hieronymus hated him. I think he just seemed like one of those people who was just like very, very difficult to be around, like a very
Mm-hmm.
challenging person who just didn't like anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So they hatch up a plan for a mutiny. They're saying like, hey, like the ship is chock full of silver and gold. Let's take it over. We can sail off, start new lives, be rich and do our own thing, basically. That's the plan.
Mm-hmm.
And their plan was like super simple, like really dumb, but very simple. The plan was they were going to sexually assault a female passenger, and then when the commander punished the crew for the assault, they'd all see how unreasonable the commander was, and it would help instigate a revolt against him.
Ew.
That's the
What?
plan.
That's a terrible plan. Why do you have to do that?
Well, it didn't work
Gross.
anyways. So
Well, I mean, ew. Continue.
so what happened was this passenger couldn't identify the attackers. And under Dutch law at the time, you needed either a confession, an eyewitness, or physical evidence, which he couldn't ascertain on his own. It's now widely believed, and you'll find out later on that others back then would agree that like his lack of punishment for all this kind of led to the mutineers like being emboldened and see him as like a weak leader.
Because he didn't punish anyone.
Yeah, he didn't punish
Like he could have
anyone.
just like picked a guy and been like, "This is an example."
He thought it could have been that Arion guy, the second in command, but it was also like seen as these guys all know I hate him. So if I do something I'm wrong, then I just look like I'm being retributive.
Right.
That was the idea. So nothing happened in that situation. On June 4th, 1629, the Batavia ran aground on the west coast of Australia. So this was apparently like a big deal with that Bower route that I mentioned earlier, because if you don't cut north exactly at the right
Right. They
time,
missed their turn.
yeah, you're gonna run straight into like the shallow islands surrounding Australia. Some actually think Arion is the one that did this, that like he deliberately didn't turn the wheel in time because of the aforementioned hatred for the captain or the
Hmm.
commander. So regardless, the ship had become useless and was run aground, and some 280 people were ferried off on these longboats they had off the Batavia to a nearby island, which we now know as Beacon Island. About 40 people drowned when the collision occurred.
Oh no.
So, you say oh no, but also I don't think life mattered back then.
Life always mattered, but it mattered differently. But also, I don't know if maybe because of what's about to happen that like that's for the best also.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy's kid died of syphilis, and all he did was say that his wife didn't give the kid syphilis. Like, I don't know if they really cared that much, but still,
I mean, he had a nervous breakdown and left, right?
yeah, could
He
be as
drank
simple as that.
he drank every
Laudanum,
pill. He probably has syphilis, and which we know makes you
definitely.
crazy.
Oh my
So
God, I didn't connect those dots. He might have literally had syphilis and gone crazy.
yeah,
That
he does
explains
that.
so
We've
much.
learned that like a million times. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that probably, yeah, that could do it. Okay, that explains a lot actually. Um, so we're back to 280 people being ferried off the Batavia to Beacon Island. There was like a small water source on Beacon Island, not a ton. There was waterfowl, there were sea lions, they had some stuff to eat, but it wasn't like great for holding 280 people. It wasn't made for that. It
A
couldn't
lot of
sustain
people.
them. Yeah,
Yeah. And I'm assuming you said those women are their kids too.
there are kids.
Mhm.
Also, again, are people having kids on this boat in the 2 months that it's like walking around the ocean?
I
Like,
think yes,
yeah,
honestly.
if
I
they're
feel
doing
like
it on the wagon trail, they're probably doing it here.
you just always are. Like, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
That's terrible.
So, so the commander Francisco, he along with Arion and about 40 other men decided to attempt the voyage north to Jakarta in one of the auxiliary boats. And so that's what they did. They're like our only choice because at this point, like Australia's nothing. Like nobody knows anything about Australia. Like they know it's inhabited, but it's
Hmm.
sparsely inhabited because Australia's huge.
Still
And
sparsely inhabited.
yeah, and I mean it's sparsely inhabited now too, but like back then it must have been incredibly sparsely inhabited. And
Hmm.
also like they're probably concentrated like very like in places you want to be, not like on these outer edge islands that nobody would ever visit or want to go
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
So our story is going to diverge here. So we're going to have two groups. We have a group who was left to find aid on in Jakarta, and the group that was left behind. So, really quick, I'll run through the story, the first part of the divergence of the people that left to go to Jakarta, because that's a quick one. They made it. So they
Great.
sailed for 33 days and they made it to Jakarta. And the commander was given a ship called the Sardam to go back and rescue the others. It took him another month to sail back to where the Batavia had been shipwrecked, and then like another month to actually find the island where the survivors were. So like think about it as like a probably 3 month window of time from when they were shipwrecked to when the Sardam comes back
Okay.
to rescue people. The more interesting part is the survivors. So when the commander left, the attempt at crossing the Indian Ocean, it was deemed like pretty dangerous, and so he only took like the strongest men with him,
Hmm.
basically.
Hmm.
And so in total, approximately 180 people were left on the island, about 20% of which were women, and a bunch of men who were either weak, sick, or some variation thereof. That's who was kind of
Hmm.
left on the island. Just by virtue, like I can't fathom how this guy did it, other than just pure confidence. He managed to become the leader of this group. Now that we have determined he probably had syphilis-addled brain, like I have no idea how you make it that convincing unless you're that confident.
I think yes. I think you have to be like, hey, be like a personality. I don't know. You know?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
like I'm sure there were much more competent people, especially like I'm sure there were more competent women, but they couldn't be in charge, you know?
yeah, of course. Um, so he becomes the leader, and his plan was that he would attempt to take over any vessel that attempted to help them, and then use that vessel to retrieve all the gold and silver from the Batavia, and then
Oh.
set sail and establish a new kingdom for himself. Again, now you said the syphilis, you're like, oh,
Oh.
this all sounds like a syphilis-addled brain.
100%. You can't just guess. Like you're not thinking straight if that's your plan.
So here's the thing. Here's I looked this up. This actually has sort of worked before.
When? Tell
So
me.
in Nassau Islands in the Bahamas was basically this. That was like a waypoint for all these pirates. And they would come and they basically created their
Mm,
own de facto state there.
hmm.
Um, then there was a kingdom established in Patagonia in the 1860s that came about just like this, where somebody mutinied, stole the boat, stole the gold, and just left.
All right. I'm wrong.
And I think the bounty mutineers did this some like they almost did this and then like eventually were found and killed. But like they
They
got
lived for a
somewhere.
while, but
Yeah.
they weren't like trading with other countries.
No.
You know, they
Way
wouldn't
no
have like kingdom, I think is a big word,
yeah, nobody got that
right?
far. Nobody
Yeah.
got that far. There's still time.
That's funny. You're
There's still
right.
time for somebody.
What do I know?
So
I'm gonna put all my
Hieronymus,
money into silver.
yeah, we're heading that way.
Hmm.
Um,
With
So
spices.
Hieronymus then made sure that all the weapons and food were under his control, and that his biggest obstacle to this plan, a guy named Weeby Hayes, along with 20 soldiers that he led, were neutralized by just sending them to another island. He was like, hey, our water sources are low. There's an island 5 miles that way. Take one of the shitty boats we have. Go over there and see if you can find food. If you can, send up smoke signals and we'll come over there.
Oh, but he was like, I want you to leave because you would like be a competition.
Yeah, because he was like, you might actually stand up to me. That's basically what he was thinking.
What can we see the Batavia from our house? And we know it hasn't sank?
It hasn't sunk yet. I know that it sank after the gold was retrieved because we're going to talk about that piece as well.
Okay.
And parts of it have been, I mean, it then sunk, obviously, and parts of it have been brought up by, I think it's Western Australia, and they're on museum and show on
Fun.
display, whatever. Um,
Wait, real quick. I'm so sorry. This has
yeah,
nothing to do
no,
with it.
no.
You know our friend Lindsay from our last job?
Yes, yeah, of
She's
course.
currently in Cairo right now, and she was posting pictures of like King Tut's face mask and the pyramids, and I was losing my mind this morning.
That's very cool. I saw that she
Speaking
was
of
on a
museums,
flight. I
yeah,
knew that she was on a flight to Doha, and I thought she was just going to stop in Qatar and call it a day, but I didn't know she went all the way to Egypt.
yeah,
That's
cool.
cool.
Yeah. You said
So
museum, and I got jealous of her.
I am going to go to an Egyptian VR thing in December that's being done here in Austin, where you can be part of like the pharaohs, and yeah, I'm excited about
So
that.
cool.
So you named it exactly right. The reason why he sent this guy on this mission was he was like, these guys can stand up to me. They can actually put up a fight. Let's send them over there. They'll figure out there's no water over there. They'll die. We'll be rid of them. It'll be great.
Hmm.
That's his idea. And like this basically just like turned into Lord of the Flies like immediately.
Hmm.
Um, to control dissent, if he suspected anyone was getting unruly or was kind of starting to get the confidence to stand up to him, he would come up with some crime they committed, some trumped up charge
Hmm.
to get everybody behind killing this person, essentially.
Right. Not even punishing them, killing them.
Killing them. Yeah. Yeah. Actually, it's
Syphilis.
more than Lord of the Flies now that I think about it. Later, as the days dragged on and food supplies dwindled, he would find reasons to kill people just to preserve resources. His goal was to drop the population of the island to about 45 from the 60 or so who remained after Hayes and his men went to the other island. So you got 160. He's like, we got to get this down to a solid 45.
That's a lot of people to kill.
Yeah, yeah. Again, bloodiest massacre ever.
Wow.
For women and children or the sick and weak survivors, he just typically drowned them. Like that was basically the tactic there.
Hmm.
For able-bodied men, they would generally wait until they were asleep or find ways to kind of surprise them and slit their throats with knives. That was their way of going about it.
I can only
And
imagine that he had like, did he kill all the women?
no, he actually, so the other part of this was he started like a kind of like they were basically sex slaves.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. I was like, you can't start a kingdom without women, but you need women to have babies. And yes, thank you. That's what I thought would
Yeah,
happen. Gross.
yeah.
Gross.
I
Yeah.
assume he just killed the ones that like stood up to him.
Yeah.
But
Had other diseases besides syphilis. And he's like,
yes,
we're a syphilis kingdom, so you can't really have anything else.
I mean, I don't know if one of the women also had syphilis and then thought she was the king of the island, then maybe it could have turned into a fun rom-com.
I don't feel like I have enough stories of women losing their shit because they have syphilis. Like we know like, Van Gogh and all these people, but like I don't know about the ladies. They
Capone.
usually just die.
Yeah, that is weird. You're right. I
Bummer.
don't know any of them. Well,
They
that just
deserve
means the
you
story
deserve
hasn't
to
been
go
told.
crazy, old-timey ladies with syphilis.
Maybe we just don't know the stories. They have to be out there.
I know, we just don't.
Um, and then the last way that they would rid themselves of people was they would either just club them to death with stones, or they would shove them off cliffs, or force them into the water where there was like shallow coral reefs because they know they just get just beaten up and killed and drowned in the
Jesus.
coral. Yeah, it's pretty harsh. It's pretty
They're all
cruel.
terrible ways to go. Yeah.
All of them. Yeah. Eventually, that group that Weeby Hayes led, actually, they did find water. And they were putting up smoke signals, which is what Hieronymus asked them to do, saying, like, there's water here, y'all should come over here. And obviously they didn't. Nobody did that. But it was enough of a clue to folks. There was people elsewhere that when some weird stuff was happening, every morning you woke up and one less person was there, and like,
Right.
like some people
Was there
realized
water there
there was
or
a little bit of water there. They were getting to the point when it was running out, but there was some water. And then a bunch of these folks, realizing that they were like unwittingly in this death cult, just managed to escape the island and make the trek over the 5 miles south to the other island that Hayes's team were on.
Nice.
So they alerted them to what was going on, and this group starts realizing, oh, this is going nuts. And also they're soldiers, so like it's probably more like it's like okay, so we just kill these guys. Like there's no panic really. It didn't seem like there was any panic alarms or anything. All they did was they started building weapons and they would set up a night watch to make sure that these guys weren't ever going to come over and like surprise them. That was basically the
Hmm.
idea. Hieronymus, again, now that you pointed out, in his syphilis-addled brain, decides to go over to the other island with a few other men loyal to him and see if he can kind of like talk his way into like this group falling under his control, which is like kind
Hmm.
of crazy.
And it
And
hasn't been
that
that long. It's been like a month.
it's no, we are at like we're really close to month three.
Okay.
We're
I mean,
really
it's
close to
still
month
not
three.
that long for all of this. It's a lot to happen, but continue.
Yeah. So that obviously didn't work. I keep thinking like how funny it would be if someone was like trying to like sneak up to SEAL Team 6 and be like, hey guys, listen, y'all want to join my cult? Like it's like just get shot in the head immediately.
Like, get out of here. Get out of here, you nerd.
I'm
Not tall enough.
just gonna throw rocks at you.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that failed. Hayes's men take Hieronymus captive, and the others who are with him escape and go back to the main island and go to the second in command for Hieronymus's men, who must have been an absolute genius, probably, because he attempts another siege on Hayes's island. And while all this is going on, their original commander, Francisco, he has arrived in the Sardam, and everyone realizes he's here and he's like they're beelining it to the ship. They're all trying to get to the ship because they realize like there's infantrymen there, there's soldiers there.
Right, like he did it. Like the help arrived. Like he
The help
came.
arrived,
Yeah.
but they have to like somebody if you're Hieronymus, you want to be the first to go over there and say, "Hey, these Hayes guys are nuts. They're killing everyone on the island." If you're the Hayes guy, you're like this guy Hieronymus is nuts. They're killing everyone on the
Hmm.
island. So eventually, Hayes and his men make it to the ship. They tell Commander Francisco what's going on, and a mini battle ensues with Hieronymus's men and like the overwhelming force of the fleet that's on the Sardam, and they
Hmm.
defeat him, obviously.
Hmm.
Francisco decides to hold a mini trial right there and then on the island. He's like, I don't need to take if we're just gonna kill all these guys anyways, like what's the point of wasting the food and the space on the ship? Let's just like figure it out right now.
Totally.
So they hold a mini trial, and Hieronymus is obviously found guilty, and everybody really, really dislikes Hieronymus at this point. His hands are chopped off, and then he is hung. So he
Ugh,
went kind of a bad way. Um,
yikes.
and then others who helped Hieronymus with the endeavor were just kind of dropped off in Australia, and were like, "Good luck, like just figure it out yourself. I'm not taking you back with me." Um, and then others were taken back to Jakarta for trial, of which 5 were hung in Jakarta, and the others were I don't know what the legal system was, but it was like just like make these guys like die of torture basically because they
Hmm.
when not the Batavia when the Sardon then went back to the Netherlands, a bunch of them were just strapped to the keel of the ship. Yeah, so they were just like riding. I mean, I don't even know what your body looks like after that. I imagine it's just there's just nothing
Just,
left.
I can't even imagine anything's left. Yeah. It's like
Yeah,
empty rope. Ooh, ugh, ugh. Like remember, I don't remember, but you always hear like you get punished by like being taken by a rope underneath the ship and like scraped at all the barnacles and pulled back up.
that's this. I think the term is called keel sighting. That's literally what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just
Yuck.
strapped to the side. Yeah.
Gross.
Um, and then Arion, for all of his terrible actions, was tortured, but he did not confess to anything. And nobody really knows what happened to him. The only assumption I was able to conclude from this is that he just died in prison and nobody cared enough to like alert anyone that he's
Hmm.
dead.
Hmm.
Um, Francisco, the commander, again, he was seen as a weak leader. Like they reference back to that sexual assault situation. Like these guys felt him like something really horrible happened. You did nothing, and like
Hmm.
that's probably why they thought they could just stand up to you because you seem like a pushover.
Right.
He ended up, but also I kind of feel like he redeemed himself because he like led a rescue mission.
No, it's cool that he did it. Like, I think he probably had like a, you know, financial reasons for finding it and doing all this stuff. Wait, did he come back and get all the gold and silver?
He got most of the gold and silver. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I feel like, I mean, yes, this is his job to do that, and like, so it's good that he did, but also that seems hard. So
Well,
it is cool that he did that.
he was punished. He had all of his financial assets seized. He basically died kind of like a who cares kind of a character in history. He
Mm-hmm.
actually died like a year later. Like he,
Yeah.
yeah, didn't even make it that long. Um, and that was basically it. The Batavia became the deadliest mutiny in human history. Only 122 people out of the original 332 passengers on board survived, and of those,
Wow.
I think they counted somewhere around seven or so were executed. So 115 out of 332 is what it ended up being.
What was the weather like? Was it hot or cold? Hot?
I don't know. I didn't look that up.
I
I
just
mean,
feel like
Western
my
Australia.
my
Hmm.
mood changes so much depending on the weather.
I assume that if you're on I think it's the worst of both worlds. I think if you're on an island in the middle of the Indian Ocean, it is probably blisteringly hot during the day and then incredibly cold at night and
Yeah.
warm. Because the
Yeah.
island, you can look it up. Beacon Island, you can look it up now. Like it's not big. It's like
Right.
it's a very small. Like it's if you're picturing like a huge rainforest, it's not that.
No, I'm picturing like one palm tree. Oh, so there's nothing on this island.
Yeah, there's nothing going on. Yeah, I have
There's,
no
there's
idea. I don't know if it looked like that when they were there, but like right now, there's nothing there.
it's very small, yeah. Yeah. I
Rough
mean,
going.
rough going. I mean, yeah, the whole thing is rough. Even if it went perfectly well, it wouldn't be fun.
You mean if they actually made it there without shipwrecking?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. The whole thing
it's
sounds horrible.
it's still not fun.
I also read that like the East India or the Dutch East India Company also had like slave ships. So like they
Oh
were
yeah.
running slaves back and forth too.
Hmm.
And I was like, man, as bad as it is,
I
anyways, how
cannot,
much worse?
I can't. I mean, just like, learning when you learn all of that when you're a kid, hopefully, you learn all of that and just like it just see it's incomprehensible how
Yeah,
horrible that must have been.
yeah.
Yeah. Ugh.
I don't think this one did. I don't think Batavia did. But if they did, I would imagine the 40 that drowned for them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like the Bounty when they had their mutiny, remember they were taking that breadfruit from one place to another to feed all the enslaved people in the
Oh
Caribbean?
yeah.
Like that was their like goal was to get that like easy to cultivate fruit over there. And then also later in my life, last Christmas, when I was in Puerto Rico, there was breadfruit, and I was telling my in-laws that that's why it's there, is because they took it to the Caribbean for a cheap food to feed to enslaved people. It
Did
was
you eat
wild.
it?
I don't remember. I think I did.
Breadfruit? I don't even know what that looks
Breadfruit.
like.
It's just like a big, like, remember, remember, I don't know why I keep saying that. You know how like jackfruit can taste like pulled pork? Have you ever done that?
No.
There's like a way to cook like jackfruit, which is like a sweeter, it's like looks like a coconut kind of, but it's like sweeter, and you can cook it so it tastes just like pulled pork. It's wild.
Really?
Hmm.
Have you done that?
I haven't done it myself, but I've eaten it, like
Wild.
by other people, so stuff like that.
Why does an impossible meat make a jackfruit
I know
sandwich?
people. I guess we can go. I got one at Trader Joe's, but it was a little too smoky for me. But you know,
Huh. All
but
right.
the
Well,
texture was the same.
lesson learned.
Yeah,
I was literally talking about making pulled pork for dinner tonight.
I love pulled pork.
I know me too.
I do it in the crock pot with a can of root beer. Do you do that
Yeah.
and then the thing?
Yeah.
So good.
Well, Dr. Pepper, same,
Sure,
same. Yeah.
sure, sure.
With the
Yeah, yeah.
Hawaiian rolls, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
so good.
Can't do it. So that's my story, and I went first today, which I know is going to throw a lot of y'all for a loop, and I just hope y'all don't write us too many letters
I know.
of angst and
We get
anger.
so many emails. It's like hard to keep up.
It's tough. It's tough.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
but that's my life. That's what we do. So,
Cool, cool.
what do you got for us, Taylor?
I just wanted to tell you that Morgan did get all of her bat mitzvah decorations from Oriental Trading. And I said, literally, of course you did. And then her and I both, oh, I did because she sent me the link to get the catalog. So there's three options. There's like a religion option of the catalog, there's seasonal, and then there's school. So I got the seasonal one. So maybe I'll get one like once a quarter for whatever holiday's coming up. And I also
You're
have, I was like, what has stopped me from sending this to Fars's house? I'm probably going to send you the Oriental Trading catalog as well.
your content you produced for that episode with the Oriental stuff. It was incredible. Like
Thank
you
you.
definitely know your stuff.
I put that background of junk in the back of it.
It looked great.
Um, yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, that's it. But yeah, I just wanted to say to people, please send us emails. Let us know what you want to do to hear from us. We take requests, so doomtofailpod@gmail.com. Please do um like reviews, good reviews on all wherever you listen. That's also really cool if you did that. And we're on the socials at Doom to Fail Pod. But we're
I
not on
just
Twitter.
let us know what you think.
Yeah.
Send us ideas, but send us ideas that are like researchable. Like I've tried doing Freedom of Information Act requests before, and
Yeah.
it is a whole process.
I
So
did get, oh, so I did buy, wait, did I share this? I did the Donner Party a while ago. Remember? Oh, I showed you my Lindbergh crime book that I bought at the library for $1, but I also finally bought a physical copy of The Indifferent Stars Above. I'm showing you
oh,
this for no reason.
nice. Yeah.
Because I've read it twice via the library, and I think I've listened to it twice. But I was like, oh, I should also have this because, like, what if one of my children want to do a report on the Donner Party?
I think I have that book too, because that was
That,
like
do
that
you?
was the highest. I've never heard them. This is the last podcast on the left. I've never heard them gush about a book the way they gushed about that one.
It's great. I listened to it. Yeah, I listened to it twice. Um, I mean, yeah, it's really, really good. Oh, what is pictures? Ooh, these poor people. Ugh.
Do you remember the fight with the grizzly bear
In the Donner Party?
in the Indifferent Stars?
I don't know.
They reference that in Different Stars there is a vignette of a grizzly bear fight where someone
Oh
killed
my
a
God.
grizzly bear like with their bare hands. It's like crazy. I can't. I don't recall it myself. If I maybe you might recall, but if not, it's fine. I can read it.
Um, it's funny. Whenever I'm cold, wait, I'm sure to this that my scale for cold is like, I'm normal cold, I'm chilly, whatever. But when I'm super cold, I'm revenant cold.
Oh yeah.
And I just imagine myself inside of a bear,
Oh
like
yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah. Great movie.
hmm yeah, cool. Thank you. That's fun.
We
I
will do another release. We're not taking a break for the holidays. So there
No.
will be another release next week as well. And we will be checking our emails. So let us know.
doomtofailpod@gmail.com. And yeah, happy Thanksgiving. Yeah, yeah, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Have a great time.
Yeah, enjoy time with your family.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, I'll go ahead
Cool,
and cut it
thanks.
off there.
Mhm.
Um,